Alright.
Can we go check on your computer?
Okay. Ready?
Who?
Zachary.
Did he?
He got married yesterday.
What? I didn't know he's engaged.
I saw
I
that.
thought he got married over the weekend. That was yesterday. I don't know, I just saw the post from the church. So I know everything.
I'll be.
Oh, I don't
Okay, we're gonna go ahead and get started. General Government Committee meeting, discussion of signs in the public right of way. So, who would like to provide thoughts first? I have an idea. Start us out. Okay, so this was my ponderings of this. I guess I don't really like being more strict than what the state ordinances are and what state laws are if we don't necessarily have to be. So I was going to, my suggestion was we match with the state laws with it being political signs, and then other signs just have you have to move it within this amount of days, like you can't state it permanently. And if it is in the way, when if the city employees need to do work in the right of way, they're gonna move it, and that's just something people need to be aware of. That was my
Okay.
thought.
Riley?
Yeah.
Real quick, as far as being more strict than the state has very clear language about signs in highway right-of-ways, which
Yeah.
is all that the state controls is the highways.
Yeah.
Under DOT control, and they leave the municipal streets up to the municipalities. So
So does that one even apply to us then, or is it just
I would-
based off our own?
I would say that they say no signs in the right-of-way of the ones they control. So if we said that, it would be equal strictness.
That was my.
Good discussion. Looks like a one line ordinance.
Yeah, it's kind of just me talking up here.
Well, you'd have to clarify your length of time, etc.
What is it? Do we have a length of time on anything now?
In the sign ordinance, regarding temporary signs, there's a 60-day limitation, but the sign ordinance doesn't permit signs in the right of way. So it's saying you've got a temporary sign on private property.
I guess what are your guys' thoughts on it? You're the ones who have been having to go pick up signs.
Our attorney's been very clear that it should be all or none, and specifically it should be none. Because if we get into all, then it's everything. Everything. I mean, anybody could put anything out in the right of way within decency laws, and then who's going to interpret those? I mean, the signs over by Tilford, those could be moved into the right of way. Someone's probably going to touch those, and then we're going to have to deal with who touched my sign.
So is there an avenue that they could come apply for a permit to have a temporary sign that's approved by whomever for a very limited amount of time?
Within the right of way?
Mm-hmm.
Currently, no.
I have a question.
Yeah.
What brought all this to light? Like the Legion signs, the church signs, the Kiwanis signs that have always been in the intersection. There has not been an issue until all at once they just take them down. They don't notify anybody, they just take them down.
Well, we did. We did notify.
No,
What
you
brought
didn't.
it all on is that.
That dog don't hunt, Mayor.
Well, it does hunt, because here it is. We had an individual that placed a bunch of signs in the right of way. We went over politely, asked him to move them out of the right of way. He decided to, at that point, say we are discriminating against him, basically what it is. So we contacted our attorney, and it was an all or nothing thing. We couldn't discriminate against anything, so we just enforced it and moved them all out of the right of way. And we did notify people.
You didn't notify anybody from the Legion, you just took the signs down.
How did we post all that we were moving? It was posted on our website. It was posted.
We got a phone call.
So If nobody contacted you specifically, I apologize. But we did try to do our best to notify, and it was a quick
They,
turnaround.
I mean, everybody here knows who the Legion members are.
Absolutely, I get it.
And one of us should have been contacted rather than just take the signs down.
I think there was a message left. On an answering machine or a message service.
The Legion, there's no one there all the time.
No, there was a message left. You got an answering service?
Okay.
Machine?
Okay, I'll check into that, but I don't think anybody was
I don't think anybody
notified.
called us back at all. We did get a hold of somebody to come pick the signs up.
And I know that Doug, who's our attorney, would prefer the city go the none route. But if we do that, then we are harming our nonprofit, our traditional,
Cheerleaders,
Are they the
Boy
school?
Scouts,
yeah.
It wasn't an easy decision, but faced with potential legal action against the city that we were discriminating against somebody, you gotta do it all or nothing. And that's unfortunate, because we were okay with everything.
okay, I get it. You had a couple people complain about it, so you just shoot everybody with a shotgun. Just blow everybody away. I got it. I'm used to that mentality.
It's nothing that, so how do I choose who? Okay, I let you do it. Brett comes out, well, I wanna put my sign up, I wanna sell ice AMCA down in the middle of the intersection too, do I let him do it?
Nonprofit. The Legion is, we are not making any money. Actually, we're losing money, and we're supporting this community.
So the conversation's been had, and every one of these people can attest that was my biggest concern, is how are we going to have the nonprofits be able to keep their signs in? Actually, I think I just asked the question not that long ago, tonight. That has always been my concern about the whole thing. How can we do it? That's why I was asking, can we get an avenue that you guys can apply for a temporary permit to put your signs up?
At no charge.
At no charge.
Is that feasible? Is that something we can do, even if there's no precedent for it? Thoughts? Jeff?
So we could, if we put a sign up, it has to be on the property side of the sidewalk.
Yes.
We can do that
Then you're
Right
good.
now, yes, yes.
Yeah.
right now. So
No, always
Yeah,
can.
always, you always can.
Anything that's
But
on
what-
private property, we can't regulate whatsoever.
Right, but you're talking about your sandwich boards in the intersections, etc., which is,
I get that.
yeah.
We can get around that. I just was a little upset by the way it was handled is all.
I would please check your answering machine and see if you did get a message.
I will.
We don't know that it's not manned 24 hours.
It isn't gonna make any difference whether we got a message or not. But other than self-satisfaction, but, so we can put our signs on somebody else's property with their permission.
Absolutely. And always have been able to do that. That has not changed one bit. So. The only thing we had to go across the board on because of this incident was anything that the city claims is right of way. And that's why I'm asking, what's the avenue that we can make it so you can put the signs back out in the middle of the intersection, or if there is one?
So how do we regulate who qualifies for a permit? Because if we say you can only apply for a permit if you're a nonprofit, we're still doing what our lawyer says we can't. So then are we
What do you
just-
do
What?
for the realtors that have an open house
Right.
I
on
don't-
Sunday and they can't set it back in somebody's yard or nobody's gonna see the signs?
But then we're discriminating if we don't allow political candidates to then
What if
apply
we
for the
describe
same
it as-
permit for
Well,
an event?
a
A
political
sign for an
candidate is
event.
not
Right.
selling anything.
Our
except for
lawyer
himself.
says we can't discriminate based on the content.
But
What if we do it based off of an event, like if you're having an event, like
You're
the VFW
discriminating.
has an event?
It all comes down to discrimination.
Only allowing certain
Picking and
signs to be
choosing.
displayed.
Will everyone have to apply for some type of signage in the future? Is that what we're looking at, or?
Well, typically, there won't be anything left to be put in the right of way, so there won't be any permits to have. So,
I mean, we're going, and you feel the pain, we're going through a lot because it sounds like one person did one thing,
and instead of doing the
the right thing.
right thing, decide to make it an issue.
I'm gonna leave.
Okay,
before I do this.
I remember.
And it is highly unfortunate.
So we're here to brainstorm. We're here to come up with,
Well, it sounds like there isn't anything to brainstorm. You can put signs in private property and nowhere else. You don't need any brainstorming there as far as I can see.
That's the easiest method. But does it help maintain what we need to have as a small community? I don't know. That's what I'm trying to figure out. I don't know if there is a good answer.
Well, anything else is gonna be intensive labor-wise, or people's gonna walk in here and asking for permits to be done, and somebody from the city's gonna have to do this or that. It'd be nice if you could walk in and say, I have a sign, and the city says you have a limit of 2 signs you can place within the city. So if somebody's a political candidate, they can plop 2 signs down and make the process a little cumbersome to sign up, so they're not gonna just be able to get 50 people coming and sign up. But that's all more work for you.
Yeah, like they had brought up earlier, what happens if they do that and somebody goes by and knocks a sign down? Now they're into a criminal investigation because their property got damaged, because we allowed it in the right of way.
How often does this happen?
Don't know.
Something like that.
How often did it happen that somebody didn't put their signs back to where they asked?
I mean, there was quite the issue with the signs by Tilford once upon a time. I believe somebody drove off the road.
That's the one
Run
time I
them over.
remember too.
And if those sorts of things are in the right of way, you don't need
Was
to
that you?
trespass to take them.
Well, if somebody drove off the road, they should be arrested.
You're charged. You're charged.
That is the one time I remember. That's right.
Okay, I have a question.
But how long has he been doing that? Those signs have been up every year for as long as I can remember.
And he had to be talked about as far as getting them off the right of way, and he has done so.
Yeah, they're not in the right of way now.
Except for the garbage can.
Well,
I agree with
you know,
Ryan.
that
No, I'm just remembering the one time we had signs.
there again, you're private property, there's nothing you can do about it.
So Riley brings up the point, how if, I'm a realtor, so I would prefer to be allowed to have signs in the right of way for open houses where they're visible from the corners, etc. If you have a sign in the right of way that's for an event, how is it discriminatory if you take it down once the event is over? Put it up 3 days before, take it down. Is it? If it's for an event.
An event that has a specific date, a specific time that's going to be occurring.
I'd be looking for a lot of campaign rallies happening every day. It's easier.
Cool, they can go for it.
So in
Sounds
other
great
words, what you're saying is allow a scenario of allowing a temporary sign allowed to the right of way, but only for like
State
window
suppers, open houses.
a window of like 48
The
hours or
farmers
less.
markets, the
Farmers
craft
markets.
sale, those types
Like for 2 days in advance, like.
Well, that's
That's
that we
for
can
us to
decide.
I put signs out for races, put the sandwich board signs or whatever you call them, the footboards.
Mhm.
I put them out during our anniversary race here, and I usually put them out like a day or 2 ahead of time.
Yeah.
I mean, there's certain, like the fish fries that the Legion Hall does, and the pancake breakfasts that the firehouse is doing. Why do we want to shoot those situations? That's
Right.
to me, that's
I
just
definitely
not-
don't.
We don't.
No,
That's
not that at all.
That's why I'm
Not
asking
at
if
all.
there's a way
At
for
the
us to
scenario we were
not
given,
have it.
we had to either
Limit
allow
the-
them all.
Limit the political signs. There's already
Those are already
there's
limited
already codes.
by state law, and it's still got to go.
Is there a limit on how many you can put up?
No.
There's one of your problems.
Per yard?
I mean, why does one parcel of land need 50 signs in it? If it's a standard lot on a standard city block, which most of our homes in this community are, why do we need 5 of them? We don't. I put 4 of them in my yard just to prove a point because I think it's ridiculous.
Looks like a circus.
You know, I don't need 20 EMS. I don't need 20 EMS signs in my yard to prove my point. I can put 1 in there. Why don't we look at as a community limiting the political signs? You know, I mean, especially in
that's
today's,
on their private property. Though.
especially in today's. Well, we're just talking about the right of ways, though, right?
Yeah,
You can't put it in the right of way
No.
at all, period.
Yeah, you
So
can't
if
put
they
a
are,
political
then-
sign in the right of way.
So the ones who are,
Unless it's
there are
business.
still
Some have been, but they're not legal. I mean,
What's that?
So you
some on the right of way.
you can limit the right of way, but you can't limit that they can only put 1 in their own property.
that's
Correct.
You
Right.
can't tell me they can't.
It's tough to go on
But
someone's
it's on two
Yeah,
private
you
property
can't
and
do
tell them.
that.
Why
Would that
do
be
that?
highway?
That-
Would that be
I
state right
don't
away?
understand
Which is the
what,
same
what
thing.
we're talking
Right,
about.
and do our police
They've already
police
got
that
it
as
decided
well?
what we can do.
Now, when
That's-
you
that's
think
our-
about the
that's our
right of way,
current
as far as
ordinance.
state right of way,
They're discussing whether
I
or
would
not
Yeah,
recommend
this
not to
says
forget
allow
of
nothing.
your
like
alternative
to
routes
So it seems okay.
and also your
According
farm
to
to
the
market
attorney,
routes that you have in town.
He's saying
And they
you
do that.
should.
So all the areas that are
What's
highlighted
that?
by the DOT,
For
Political signs
political
I saw
stuff.
today. Were on to the side of the garbage.
Oh, yes, very clever.
Yes, yes, yeah.
In the, out by the street.
You're aware of that.
Does that
And
count
being
as a
handled.
right of way? I had a question.
that's on private.
It'll be taken care of tomorrow.
Well, it fell off today.
Can we find out from Doug if that is within our rights, if that would be seen as discriminatory, just to have it
I-
specifically for events that are happening? If
Well-
we give them like a 2-day window, they can have it out, once the event is complete, it has to be down.
Okay. No harm in asking Doug about
Yeah,
these
I just
things.
wanna find out.
So, to prevent the fact that I am going to ask for that same permit every consecutive day for the entire year, so I can put them wherever, how often do you guys have events? Every 3 months?
Every twice a month.
Twice a month, so there has to be a period of time that they cannot have consecutive signs.
We've never gone
Somebody
more
will
than
come
one
in
day.
and do that.
If I may,
Farmer's
Mr.
market.
Mayor.
Yeah.
What you have in your ordinance, surprisingly enough, under garage sales. Garage sales, you have a limit per residence of only 4 garage sales per calendar year.
Oh, you didn't know that?
Just a thought. That prevents somebody from having a garage sale continuously over and over and over again.
So
you
you're,
would just
you're
need-
trying to say we can only have,
No,
no, no.
He's just giving
That's not it at all.
No,
Like,
no,
to
no, no.
help, like our app, like how we would.
We're
make
trying to
it.
get it so you guys can put your signs up. That's what we're trying to
Right.
figure out.
Twice a month, 1 day each time.
Or
They go
garage
out-
sales
They are
land,
out
fish
1
fry.
day.
we go out in the morning
There you
and they come down after the event that night.
go. Oh, see, they're already.
And that's only when it isn't
Did
windy.
you do it just like a day or two, I think, right?
Yeah,
Is that what you said? Like,
As far as Riley's question about whether or not that's within our rights, my discussion with Doug and with other communities in my role, it is within your rights, but the mantra is, if I have to read a sign to decide if it's compliant, you're at danger of discriminating. So if I have to read it to see if it's an event or just informational, you're already starting to pick and choose of what the city is going to allow people to say.
I think that is a risk we have to take. Otherwise, it's going to be all or nothing. If we can't find this
I
medium,
guarantee you the first person that comes and gives you a complaint that the American Legion is having a supper.
I don't think you're gonna get that kind of complaint.
Exactly.
It's gonna be some other thing that is off the wall, that they're gonna wanna post, and you're gonna say no.
They get 2 days. They have to take it down after the event.
For an event.
You're gonna
An event.
file again
For an
next, after 2 days is up, they'll file again.
They can file. Doesn't mean you have to grant it.
But then if you don't,
Then a big business.
Is it a new event?
I'm gonna guess so in this world we're making up what's gonna happen.
I'm not too concerned about that actually, but there's possibilities, so. If they do it, it'll show itself.
Mhm.
But at some point, we gotta make it back so they can put the signs out. I mean,
They don't have to be on right of ways though. Like, people can have their signs out right now, they just can't be on the right of ways.
but putting the sandwich boards out in the middle of the intersection is great advertisement.
Right.
Charlie had to move
Which
the
they
pancake
need.
sign back
Oh,
off into the parking
I went
lot.
over to the hospital, and there are 2 houses that have for sale signs, but since they're so far in now, I couldn't even hardly see that they were there, those houses were for sale. I can imagine, that's great for real estate.
The yard signs are fine. It's the open house signs, you know, that you like to have out a day or two ahead so people can plan their Sunday after church,
And you can't,
buzz up there.
well, you could, I suppose, go up to people and ask them if they could put their open house sign, your arrows and whatnot that you put in.
Still the right of way.
Not
their
if you
property.
went
On
to
their property.
private property.
You can't even put an open house for you're selling your house in the right of way. No.
So, I mean, it was
That's
like-
the,
it was an
usually
all
the
or
spot
nothing
I'm
thing.
trying to find is being able to do
Some of the-
things.
The problem is some of the right of ways are,
Stripe.
did you say 90 feet back?
Some are 99 foot right of ways. There are 60 foot right of ways. There are 60, or
Oh.
most
Some of them are
prevalent
far
is
back.
66
Would it be
foot.
expected to put a sign that far back and
That's from the center of the street.
Yes, like Fourth. On Fourth, where it's divided and split, that's 99 foot right away there.
So,
Wait a
49
second.
and a half.
So it's from the center of the high, so like Main Street right here.
Mhm.
We just went on out. It's 66 feet from the center of the road is the right of way.
No.
33 feet each
It's
way.
33
I was
feet.
gonna say it's total 66.
Yes, total 66.
Okay.
So like on Fourth, where you have the lamps in the middle,
Yeah.
it's 45 foot. It's going to be nearly 50
So you
foot,
need to
40,
find what the-
49 and a half
We
feet
do
each
have
way.
that somewhere.
It is.
So it gets wider depending on the road.
Maybe
Not
both.
Yeah, on the road it just
When they have
really
a 90
depends.
foot right of
Standard
way,
neighborhoods like mine.
it's
I always thought it was like
Six-
25.
60 or 66 is the standard.
It's,
I was
right now, it's
25, so it's more like 33.
Yes. I think your road is 33.
Okay.
Typically, if you measure off the curb,
Mhm.
20, 25 feet, you're usually gonna be in private
That's where the
property.
sidewalk
Gotcha.
75% of town.
But on Third, it's just literally back to
So you could technically be putting them
I've
too
got
close to the
decided
sidewalk
to
still.
do
Yes.
Even on what you think is your side of the sidewalk.
On
Yeah,
Third
they
from
can't,
8th,
they can't impede traffic, it can't become a safety issue.
it is
Whether that's-
literally the
Oh, yeah, I
back
did
curve
it
back
too.
to
Which some of them
8
do
to 9
impede
on
traffic,
Third.
I will say.
I just make sure on my city.
Which is
Okay.
I've got them kind of.
So I know what I would personally
They're on the
like,
inside of the sidewalk.
but how does the rest of the committee feel? Thoughts?
I am incredibly disappointed that our community has abused signs to the point where we're sitting here discussing this. It feels ridiculous that we are looking at a point where we have to choose between potentially being faced with a lawsuit for discrimination versus just trusting that people will stop trying to make lights. That's not an
Agreed.
answer to your question, but it is very frustrating. We shouldn't have to be sitting here doing this because.
And what's the
community
common
members can't
denominator of
together.
half the problems that the city's been dealing with for the last year and a half? It's the same person. It's the same nonsense. He should be sitting in here. Maybe I'll come in here at 7. I can tell him at his face. But this is ridiculous. The Legion Hall shouldn't be punished for anything. Those people should be. We should do everything we can as a community to help the people like the Legion Hall, for crying out loud, and the fire department, the police, the people who are serving our community.
The North Benton ambulance.
And somebody
Absolutely.
threatening a discrimination lawsuit against the city over stuff like that. You
I,
should-
for one, would like to not be put in a position where I have to punish the Legion.
You
My
should
job
take
is
them
hard
on, is
enough.
what you should do, and say, okay,
So I think
put
we
your money
should-
where your mouth is, instead of this
check with-
nonsense threats all the time, because it goes on a lot here.
I would like to check with Doug. I
Yes.
agree with that, but I would love to see if we go the route where they can list all of their events for the year, so they don't have to come in every month to do that. No one,
Yeah,
no one
agreed.
here wants to be dealing with paperwork for
That's
that.
a lot of paper, yeah.
So if we can even do a permit route, if we can't, then we'll have to revisit all or
Yes.
nothing.
Yep.
I still don't even like the idea of a permit because I know that's extra work for the nonprofit.
I think
as
if
it
there's
is.
a date and a time on your sign, you don't, I don't understand the need for a permit. It
It's
is my
just-
opinion.
as
If there's
long
a
as
date and a
there's a
time
date.
on your sign, I don't understand the need for
I think
a
there
permit.
needs to be some notification though to like Blake that this event's happening, we're gonna put our sign up and then we'll take it down so that they know that it has approval to be in that spot.
Well,
is
if
the
it's
thing.
within 2 days of the event.
Yeah, so it
I mean,
doesn't
because
get taken
if I have an open house, my sign says Sunday 11 to 2.
So what about somebody who puts out a yard sign that says, vote for this person on November 7th? It has a date. Does that count? I'm just trying to think
But
of
that makes
every
it a political
avenue.
sign,
Every
and it has to
avenue
be
we're
out of the
using.
right of way.
So even if we do this, nobody could do a political rally and have an event.
It
sent
can be,
out.
it can be political, it can't be campaign, it can't be about someone to be elected, it can't be something that's going to be voted on.
It can't be that
So
specific.
it can be,
It can be political,
It just can't
ballots
be,
here, or I mean,
It can't be this person's name.
it can say Iowa secede, that's political, but it's not governed by
Yeah.
state code.
I know
So
what I'm
specifically
ordering
campaign bodies being elected.
A function, activity, or an event. I mean, all you have to do is define what that is and say it has to meet one of these criteria. But then, of course, you're going to have somebody that says, me fixing your rock chip on your window is an event, but it's not. It's just not. It's a business at that point. But yeah, the American Legion Hall is a business, but it's different.
But there ain't
And there's
no
no
profit.
I like the
Right.
idea of if it has the date and time on it, that it.
yeah,
it's
because
like
I mean,
a-
realtors are not nonprofit, obviously,
If it's like within a
But
48
it's an
hour
event.
period.
but
of
it's an
that
event. It's date and time, start and end.
And it's up within 48 hours and down
Yep.
within 24 or something like
Yeah, I
that.
take them with me.
That's good.
All those statutes have like clear like things like events and define what it may be, and
The
you just kind of
definitions are
separate
usually
it
the
into
first part, yep.
what's included and what's not included, and give it a few terms and go with it.
And I do think you need to identify the right of way, because if
Yeah.
it is 90 feet back, hey, it has to be a minimum of here.
Which our ordinances already define the right of way, but we want to include that
With this.
with this.
area.
In the
So
first
it's-
section of definitions like Brett was talking about.
If the sidewalk is so far back that it's improbable or impractical.
But if there's no sidewalk, there's still the right of way, right?
Yeah, correct.
Yes.
Oh, yes. There
Which
is.
then
There's no
other
sidewalk in my
traffic.
house, but I can turn down and look and see where the telephone poles are, and I know where the right of way is, so.
Okay, so before we get on definitions and everything, I just wanna figure out if this is something we can do without it.
Just allow event signs.
I say you do it.
Right away.
I thought Blake said we could.
I mean,
Is that what you're saying?
it's within our rights, it just puts us possibly in legal jeopardy. I mean, in a
What
event,
the hell?
what
I'm with
if,
Brett.
what if someone puts a sign that says tear this
It's
house
time.
down
Yep.
on this date? That's an event.
Like I said last time, next time it happens, we're going to the fight.
Yep. So I already got these things to ask Doug.
Well, don't ask him. Tell him to write an ordinance that includes all these things.
Okay.
So,
Do it. Lock and load.
and we need it by next Thursday.
Doug,
Is this
Doug
specific
is,
to signs and not objects?
is Doug gone?
What are you
do you mean
referring
by
to as
Doug's
Harley,
gone.
what monkey wrench are you throwing into the
I'm gonna
bucket?
put a
I mean,
fire.
like a garbage dumpster, they put it on the,
Oh.
but it has his name on the side of it of this company that's supplying them. Is that an advertisement? Is it a sign?
So,
That'll be taken care of.
That was
What
specifically
if I
addressed.
put a big pancake in front of my fire station?
That sounds cute. I think you should.
that has been addressed.
I was asking, if it just addresses the
Some of
sign.
the existing, we do have an issue with the existing signage.
Anything that happened, I can't change anything.
Alright, we should probably say that aloud someday.
Let you know Doug is out right now. He'll be back in
I don't think he'll be back in the office till Tuesday.
till Tuesday.
Well, then he's gonna have to hurry it up then, isn't he?
Well, yeah.
Politely ask him.
Somebody get on
Can you throw
ChatGPT
a
and tell him to write us an
Susan, thank you
ordinance.
in there?
please.
Could you please write as ordinance staff
Thank you. ASAP.
That would
ASAP.
include the definitions
right away?
of our right of ways and
Just back to that question. If we're saying signs, right? And are we
we need to stipulate.
defining sign?
I wouldn't think we'd have to.
We have.
Clearly we have to, but we
You should.
Those are
but-
pretty, those are pretty good.
Oh,
That's what I
defined
thought.
pretty
I
well.
thought I
read one.
in our current ordinance.
Okay.
So keep the definitions of the signs, but include the definition of the right of way, leave the definitions of what constitutes a sign, and include the fact that they must have a date and a time. That's about as simple as we can break it down without going nuts.
Did we say
Temporary
48 hours
signs,
prior,
is it
24
48 or
hours after?
72 hours?
48.
hours
I didn't hear you, Chris.
48 hours or 72 for temporary signs.
for temporary signs in the right of way.
Well, I
Because
guess
obviously there are
72
temporary.
total.
So our ordinance for permanent signs,
72
like, if somebody did
Yeah,
wanna
we think
come up and put a
72
brand new
total.
sign in our right of way, they have to apply for a permit, it has to get approved through us, it has to go through a whole process.
Right, and currently our ordinance doesn't allow for a permanent sign in the right of way.
That's what I thought.
DOT right of way, and they permitted it. So I know there are several around town that is questioning whether or not they should be there. Who knows? The record keeping before me was pretty spotty.
Bless you.
All right.
Andrew, anything?
I
Pondering.
tried to not focus on I threw a few thoughts in, but no. Simpler the better.
ChatGPT says we should write it as nonprofit organizations shall be granted permits free of charge for events or public service announcements.
That's freaky stuff.
I got the whole ordinance already written.
So pretty much the only ones we're going to allow, just to summarize, are events.
Yep, for events.
Okay, without a permit, because they'll have the date and time.
And you'll have to
So
define what
72
that
hours
event
total that it
is.
can be out.
Right? So that event is garage sales, open houses, nonprofit
Dinners.
events
Nonprofit
such
events.
as dinner suppers,
Can you even say nonprofit?
things like that, huh?
Dinners? Can you even say nonprofit? Just dinners? I don't know.
Put whatever we want.
Do we have to define what what constitutes an event?
So
Yes.
If it's got a date, a start date,
I suppose, no, fair enough.
these
Start
permits
date.
that you're talking about, we'd have to ask for a permit, and then it has to go to city council.
No,
No,
we're gonna
no,
see if we,
no,
we're gonna
no,
see if we
no,
can
no.
get that. Like
No
you guys have like a
permit.
blanket okay.
It'd be an exemption sort of thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Kind of like Alan might come in and say, I need a blanket permit for me to put out open house signs as long as I pay to this or
But you don't
something
even
like
have
that.
to come in and tell us.
And then you don't have to come in and tell us again.
Not even once.
Yeah,
So
And
we're
it doesn't even
right.
cost anything. Yep, I'm okay under
I'm
signs.
good with that.
So if somebody comes in and says, how come he gets to it? Well, he came in and said he's gonna do it and abide by these rules.
Aren't you saying that as long as it has a date
We're
start
saying
and
we don't
end,
need, we
you
don't even need
to
to,
come in
don't
for
even need to
permit?
come in.
As
Yeah,
long as there's a
we're gonna
start.
write it.
I'm saying, like I said, get a blanket.
That's
What
what
if the
we're
right of way
Yeah,
is
as long as it's
40 feet back from the street?
Well, that's what we're gonna address that too, that if it's too far back, maybe it has to be a minimum of 20 feet or something, or whatever's practical. So,
Well, this is to say that they can put it in the right of way, but that's
Right.
yeah.
from the events.
I would recommend maybe a minimum, just so things aren't placed on the curb, if you're gonna go that route.
But
I
that
don't know, I
wouldn't be
didn't-
yeah.
a,
What did you say? 20 feet?
but that wouldn't be a
I guess-
temporary.
Well, what's the number,
sign.
25 feet? I don't know.
20's too far.
I don't know.
From a real estate standpoint, 20 feet is too far.
Well, and then we're talking
What's-
about the sandwich boards in the middle of the intersection. So that doesn't,
Yeah, but that's temporary.
right,
Yeah.
wait, are we talking about non-temporary? I thought.
I don't know, those signs have been out in middle of intersections for as long as I remember, not one person's ever ran one down.
I think it actually slows people down.
The wind
Actually,
is blowing.
they did get run
Yeah.
over a few times, but the wind,
Really?
the wind had them on the ground.
Yep,
all
the
day.
wind.
Oh.
Can I vote? Why don't we just leave it the hell alone? Because again, the individual who's creating all of this stuff is doing all kinds of crap that ain't right. He's violating state campaign finance laws right now by sending mailers, direct mailers, to residents in the community of Denton without properly identifying it. He is directly violating the state law. So is he going to sue the state, or is he going to now try to run for the Secretary of State? I mean, what are we going to put up with? It's nonsense. He's punishing the whole community by making you guys even have to deal with this kind of nonsense. And he's damn sure punishing people like Charlie or anybody else in here that wants to put out perfectly good functions where people in this community are going to support it.
I don't
It's
think you're
silly.
going to get any argument up here. That's exactly what's happened.
Well, I hope those
However,
don't change a thing.
every ordinance that's ever been written, every law that's ever been written is because somebody had a problem with it.
I get it.
So,
I'm in the rule writing business for an occupation.
There you
so
go.
I understand.
And why do you have to do it? Because somebody somewhere cheated.
That's right. Something.
Correct.
But I don't want restrictor plates, man.
I don't want the air dams to stop them from flipping over. But I got to watch it with it.
Yeah, if they don't like what we do, they can go someplace else and race. And the way I look at this is, if our codes aren't wrong, why are we trying to change them? And
It's messy. Don't get me wrong.
What isn't though?
That's
what
true.
isn't? Any
But that's
law writing, rule writing is messy.
part of
Thank
our responsibilities here. We're trying to clean things up so it's better for future generations. So they never have to deal with it again. That's our whole thing here. This is what our whole past 6 years I've been mayor has been about. It's cleaning things up because I'll be damned, everything is messed up at some point. So,
Get it.
and if I leave it, we didn't do our diligence. So we are going to try to make this as easy for you as we possibly can. That dog hunts, right?
Yeah.
I thought so. So trust me, it was not easy to do what we did. It was a discussion between the chief and I for a long time before we did it. We did not want to do anything.
And you were not the only unhappy people
Yes.
Oh Lord.
So,
by a long shot.
It just happened on the day that
absolutely.
their signs were out, and a lot of people didn't come to the meal because they didn't see the signs.
I heard that it was because our signs were political. And my point is,
No.
a lot of freedom is not political.
Nope. I agree.
No.
And my specific question was about you guys. That was one of my main things. And it didn't even dawn on me at that moment about the pancake breakfast being the same issue. So, but unfortunately,
Yeah, but they got to move their signs.
yeah.
They had the option.
You had to get a permit though, didn't you?
She didn't
I
get it.
tried, but it didn't go through.
So we were going to try to rush this thing through as fast as humanly possible to get this
Make it
squared
work.
away the best we can.
Well, I got places I can put the signs in the meantime, but it was just the way it was handled. It got me backed up against the wall, and if I'm up against the wall, I'm gonna come out fighting.
And that you did. And I appreciate that.
Yep.
So, and I apologize if we didn't get the message or didn't get it relayed to you effectively. That won't happen again. So,
Okay, I think we got your happy medium.
Yes.
I got stuff for Doug. So
tell Doug just to write it.
okay. I will tell Doug just to write
Sure
it,
for
man.
Douglas, call him Douglas. That'll make it seem more important.
What will he do? Stroke his beard?
Give me your notes. I'll have ChatGPT write the ordinance.
I mean, I think it's 2 sentences.
Yeah, I don't think we did it too long.
That's actually pretty well worded.
That was pretty effective.
Yep. Then we don't have to deal with it. Anybody else got anything to say while we're here? I know you do, but you're gonna hold those.
Chief, maybe we could get more contact information for you guys just in case we need it. So that we
Yeah,
can
that would
call
probably
the
help.
VFW too.
Because if we are just calling out to the
Find
Legion, we're just getting an
somebody
answer
for
machine, we may need to talk to you anyhow, so it could be good
Well,
to have like an after hours
In the
contact.
past, I've been contacted by the Benton County Sheriff's Department. They all know who I am, plus all the other Legionnaires. You call dispatch, they'll get a hold of me.
Super.
Okay.
Blake, anything else?
Of the 85 some signs we took, we
Oh
had
my God.
3 people come get their signs. Other than that, nobody said anything.
I have
I've
a,
had 2 realtors who moved them without saying a word, and thought, well, that's not a problem. I had a Remax agent call me today saying their sign was missing. I said, yeah, it was taken, it was at the curb. She said, well, is it down at City Hall? I said, well, unfortunately, it's gone. She goes, well, good. Saves me a trip to them. So there's mixed feelings about it as far as the.
So what did you do with them?
Disposed of.
Oh.
I have a question. Someone asked me if everyone who had their signs removed, did they get a ticket for those, or were they just removed?
No, they were just.
I didn't think so, but I just wanted to ask you directly because I was sure that was.
It would be a possibility if it became clearly a purposeful thing.
Sure.
And
I just
You're
wanted
purposely violating.
to have that on record that they did not.
No, no one was issued a ticket.
Thank you.
Good deal. Anything else, Riley?
Nope. Got a plan.
So let's hash this out. Who said that I was going to sue the city if you discriminate against my
I
sign?
never said the word sue. You had selective discrimination, so
Who said that?
you did.
I never said that. I questioned
Selective
motives.
prosecution, I think were the words.
Nope. And Ted came down without his body camera on one night.
What did you post?
What's that?
What did you post?
What did I post?
Having selective prosecutions are one of the things.
I was out till 2 o'clock in the morning moving signs
signs
that I just put in the night before. My competitor didn't have any. Yeah, I can be sour about it. I moved the signs back. He asked me to move the signs back. I moved them back. He was supposed to come back the next day to talk to me. He never came back to talk to me. And then I'm on
Riley called
vacation.
me and let me know that you'd already stopped up the her office and got the information that you needed.
About what? Because I requested the vote.
About the campaign signs. Or
Okay.
Healy, I'm sorry, Healy.
Okay. That's not what I went to there for.
That's what
So we looked into it and I moved my signs back.
Get your answers
that
that you
same
want.
night. So what I'm saying is this is all getting pinned on me. And that is, you guys just said that I'm causing tons of problems. I got Brett with a law degree over here saying that he's digging into campaign finance. He doesn't know how it works. He only reads selective language because that's how he operates.
Mayor, we're not
Which
here
is
to
fine.
that.
So
we're
my
not
question
gonna
is,
do this. So
my question is,
the meeting's been going now for almost,
the comments have been made that the only reason this is happening is because somebody threatened to sue the city. I never once threatened to sue it. I can question motivations. That's okay. That's what happens.
But when you start
I
talking
didn't
about
wanna come
selective
down here-
prosecution, Dakota, or whatever you,
That's
however
really
you
professional,
posted it,
Virginia.
that
Really
is the same thing as saying I can sue the city. And you campaigned on that you were going to come in and we're going to change that we get rid of the selective prosecution or whatever it is.
But last meeting, you told me that one year you campaigned for a mayor. You called Ted and said, "Are
I
we going to
did.
enforce sign code this year?" And the answer was no. And you put your signs out in the median.
Yep.
So my question is, I am right in the assumption to say, hey, why is this just now? We go 2 years without doing it, and now I put out signs.
Well,
I'm
that
ahead of the
was
ball.
8 years ago, and ever since then, every political sign has been outside the right of way until this year.
Until this year. So that same code was in effect 8 years ago, though. That's what I was talking about. I just questioned it. He asked me to do it. I moved my signs back. I got up. It was raining the day I put them out. The ground was super soft. I got a screwdriver and a hammer out to hammer holes in the ground to allow these
That's
guys to put
great,
them back.
but again, then you go post and you're going to campaign on going to get rid of this elected
So
process.
post, you're talking about my personal Facebook page.
No, everybody sends me stuff when I get it.
Okay.
And when that happens, that is still a public comment if somebody
on
gets
your
it.
campaign
because-
page, actually.
Is it?
Yeah, I read it
Are
today.
you a follower?
Yeah, I read it.
Okay.
No, I don't Facebook, but they sent it. So I have to contact the city attorney now and find out what that means. He goes, well, you could be up for a lawsuit for discrimination. So what do we got to do?
So he
You gotta
said it,
take
not
them out.
me.
So,
He said it,
but
not
it's
me.
all related to the same thing, Dakota.
No,
And
you guys
so-
are
Riley,
spinning
I'm
this
sorry, this is
narrative
your
that this
committee.
was happening.
If you want to end it, you can.
Yeah, we made our decision. We know what we're doing.
Adjourn?
Move forward, yes.